Hey Laura,
Hey Kaylee.
we're live.
What?
Yeah.
Are we live on Dataslate Thursday?
Slate Thursday, yeah.
Dataslate Thursday.
You know what?
Dat Thursday Dataslate.
Do you know what also
Hey
is the
Kaylee.
date today?
Is it the 7th?
It is the
Are
7th.
we live on and is Nurgle in ascendance?
The whimpers have been answered.
It only took 3 months of whimpers.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
are you
it
excited?
it feels good to be Nurgle today.
Now, does it feel better to be a Nurgle demon or does it feel better to be a Death
I
Guard?
think it's Death Guard cuz say like um no, like say okay, this was like Nurgle demons. They were like they're not that great, but they're like still kind of cool, right? But Death Guard, they were like underground, right? Right. And now
Yeah.
Nurgle demons were like, haha. And then Death Guard's like, haha. So that big gap there, yeah, I think that's where the feel good is.
That's fair. You know what? I looking through, I think that new detachment rule for Death Guard is pretty fresh. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
pretty.
The
That is
contagion deck.
certified. Yeah, that is certified fresh plague. Rotten to the core, fully ready to expire.
Yeah, it's almost like they should have done that from the beginning.
Well, and I like that there's some like versatility there. There's some oomph to that. The minus
Yeah.
one to hit, or sorry, it's not even minus one to hit. It's minus one ballistic skill, minus skill one to weapon skill, which
Mm-hmm.
is huge.
Yep. The saving throw is also a nice one too.
That is, yeah, because that really, especially with the lower AP, I think
Mm-hmm.
Death Guard are going to be intimidating. That's for sure.
And correct me if I'm wrong, they get to pick it when they get to the battlefield, right?
Yeah, it's one of the pregame
Mm-hmm.
selections.
Which I really like.
Mm-hmm.
No longer do you have to like guess like, well, maybe I'll go into this, maybe I'll go into that, and maybe this. Now it's like you get to the table, you're like, oh, you can now ask your opponents like, what kind of saving throws do you have, or like, what's your ballistic skills to get your kind of answers, which contagion you're gonna pick. So yeah, I think
Well, the nice
yeah, sorry.
I was just the nice thing is you kind of know like if it's a more elite army they hit on
Mm-hmm.
threes, if it's
Exactly.
custodies they hit on twos, so it's kind of like, all right, you know what, if you're going into custodies, like maybe you want them to hit worse,
Yeah.
because realistically you're going to bump up against their invuln save, so like the save isn't going to make as much sense. The OC one I think is going to take a little bit of refinement to figure out.
Yes, I think that will be well played with Battle Shock. And if there's any, honestly, I will put it out there that I did not look at anything Death Guard, only because I heard the cries and I thought to myself, I need to save my energy and my time because obviously we know that it's going to be changed. Like the how bad it was or how people have played it off how bad it was, I knew that couldn't
Hmm.
stay. Like, what's the point on trying to learn that and feel bad? And anyway, so forgot my point, but yeah.
Death Guard not even worth Snurgle's notice until today. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
You're like, I didn't even bother to figure out how bad they were. I was just like, these dumpster fires are trash.
Because they said it was. Oh, sorry.
I
My point. If there are ways to do Battle Shock with Death Guard, then that leadership one will, I think,
Hmm.
come into play.
You know what? Having played into Chaos Knights, that minus one, or I guess technically plus one leadership, the worse in one leadership, can be pretty nasty,
Yeah,
pretty like fast.
and now that we know, like, Insane Bravery has also changed.
Ooh, that one is that I honestly thought that the way they worded Insane Bravery to begin with was really stupid.
Yeah,
It was just like, hey, if you fail a battle shock test, here's a CP tax for some reason. Like there wasn't any like tacticality to
No,
it.
and by the way, you know how you could only do it once per battle before? You can do it whenever you want.
Yeah, well now it's back to once per battle. So
Mm-hmm.
like it'll be used for those like clutch like I can't risk throwing a dice here. Like I cannot risk losing this objective. Like it's worth too many points. I'm gonna spend the CP, and like then it's a clutch. Like it's a like big decision moment. Like oh you're using insane bravery. Like wow okay
Yeah, that must mean something for you.
yeah. Whereas like it's just like I kind of want that objective
Oh, I
and
failed
like
it. Yeah, I should probably just spend this CP that I don't
yeah.
really need. That I kind of collect.
Like, I was gonna use the CP elsewhere, but like, yeah, I might as well score some points. Like, oh, if I must score some points.
Is it still 1 CP?
I think so, but the once per game limitation is pretty huge.
Love it.
But the bigger change is
the biggest
to
change.
Mr. Overwatch.
Yes.
Which I'm sure you're pretty happy about because realistically
Very.
you have one unit that's good at Overwatch.
I don't know. I don't know. I can kind of see what they were trying to do with Overwatch, but this whole like I can just do it and I don't need line of sight and it's 24 inches. Bogus. 24 inches is bogus.
You know what? Taking away Titanic means you're not going to get the absolute just like redonkulous Overwatches anymore. One thing that frustrated me, like, especially with CSM, they took away all the flamers out of the index, and then made Overwatch so powerful. And they did that to a few other armies, where it's like the main thing you Overwatch with became very limited for some armies, and then were just like hyper prevalent in others.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hated getting double to triple Overwatch. I hated getting singularly Overwatch. I don't think
Just
I have used. Right, I've used Overwatch once, and it was not really the best use of CP, but
yeah,
in 10th edition.
I don't think people were using it enough. I don't think people were exploiting it enough. I think they could have. There were so many times where I moved. I'm like, I'm just gonna get Overwatched. Oh, you're not Overwatching? Sweet.
Well, and now you can't get it for free, and now you can't use it multiple times. So, like, that is huge, too.
Right, because those are only for battle tactic strats?
Yeah.
Which is, like, the main core ones?
Yeah, it's I think they worded it as, like, it's usually ones that make something better at doing something. They're not necessarily the, like, shenanigansy ones.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is good. Because really, like, yeah, it makes your, like, captain, like, lord type characters also, like, far less reliable.
Mm-hmm. Who do you think were the losers in this Dataslate?
I mean, probably anyone who doesn't play Necron. I think Necrons are really the big winners. But losers, I don't know if Eldar got really taken off their high horse.
Didn't.
Like there's
like the mechanics of the game change, so that's gonna change for them.
Yes,
but
I don't think you're gonna see Wraith Knights anymore.
Nope. Goodbye, dev wounds.
Well, kind of. I don't think you're gonna see like you're not gonna see the same types of lists, but I don't know if Eldar really got like taken out of the fight. I think they just got taken down maybe a notch or two, but they did not get like buried like I think a lot of people were maybe rooting for. I didn't want to see them completely buried, but I don't know if they did enough, because we've talked about this before, that like Strands of Fate wasn't even really being used because there's so much synergy and reliability in the index on the data cards. There's so many built-in rerolls that like they're already so reliable. I don't think we've seen the depths of how strong that index is.
I don't know, all the GTs did.
No, but there's so much more in there that like I feel like they solved the meta, the list, but I don't know if they solved like
Were people just taking
the index.
Were people just taking similar lists to these GTs?
I think like Wraith Knights, 3 Fire Prisms, the Encarn is like almost is like a forced take because the Incarn is redonkulous.
Mm-hmm.
So like yeah, a lot of the lists are similar. They rhyme at the very least. And I think you're just going to end up seeing it adapt a little bit to the stuff that didn't get hammered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be interesting in the next couple GTs. Actually, the RTT here in Halifax, they're doing it with all like the new points and Dataslate on Saturday, so in 2 days. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah, I think Imperial Knights got nerfed. It'll be interesting to see. Like, I think with Imperial Knights, if everyone who's kind of jumped on the bandwagon over the last few months sticks around, I think you'll see their win rate drop just because you're going to have people that don't know how to actually play Knights. They just were tabling their opponents and figuring it out after that.
Right.
I think there's going to be some more interaction. I think playing purely shooting Imperial Knights is not as viable anymore.
With tower
because you're
change?
you're not going to be able to shoot a melee army off the table, and there's a lot of melee stuff that just rips Knights apart because they don't get an invuln in combat.
Right,
So
they don't.
and they can't just 0 CP fight on death anymore, and they can't, it's 2 CP now, so they're going to actually have to like be careful with that. So they're not just going to be able to be like, oh, and then this big knight fights on death, and then that little knight fights on death. And
because this knight told him that he could.
yeah. And like, you know, the big knight's not hitting and wounding on 2s and rerolling all 1s is going to be, again, huge.
Yeah. Thank God. I do have to say, though, your lady was a loser.
She's still worth it.
I think so
she's
too.
Still,
I think so.
I think
too.
she was undercosted. I feel like she's probably appropriately costed now. Mm-hmm. Abaddon going up 60 points was a little surprising.
He went up 6. Was he 150?
He was 250, and now he's 310.
Yeah.
I think that's a little heavy-handed. Like, Abaddon's a blender. Don't get me wrong. Abaddon ruins people's days, but he also dies to a stiff breeze now. Mm-hmm. It is very hard to keep him alive, and I think that might have been a little aggressive, but at the same time, I've also seen him single-handedly kill a big knight. So, you know, who am I to judge? Who am I to know?
And Belly still didn't get his 4 marks.
But he's not. That's maybe for 11th edition. If you whimper real good, you'll get an 11th edition.
He's a really good boy. Do you want to talk about Chaos Space Marines and their entirety?
Sure. So overall,
not have a drink.
Points decreases across the board, other than Abaddon.
Okay.
Some are pretty small, some are pretty big. Legionaries are going down 10 points. I thought Legionaries were good. I thought people were sleeping on them. People were, I think, more attracted to Chosen. I definitely thought Legionaries were better.
They were much better than Terminators.
They are. The rerolling wounds is huge. I ran last event. I ran a squad of 5 of them with a Dark Apostle, and they wrecked shit. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you. The +1 to wound combined with rerolling all wounds. So, you know, you've got chain swords wounding on 5s, rerolling. Like, it was. I was making my opponent roll a whole lot of dice, we'll say. And I mean, anything under tough 8 was on 4s. So it was pretty spicy. And now that squad is, you know, a 5 squad is 90 points. Mm-hmm. And I think they do a lot of work at that level. Possessed went down a little tiny bit. Land Raiders and tanks mostly went down. Bikers went down, which I love me some bikers. Yeah. I think they are hugely underrated, especially now. combi weapons don't trigger custodies for Feel No Pain. So Dev Wounds don't trigger Feel No Pains on mortal wounds anymore because they're not mortal wounds anymore. So things like combi weapons are going to rip custodies apart. And they get, with anti-infantry 4-up, they get devastating wounds most of the time. So, and Biker's going to have 2 of those. So 85 points to, like, I don't know, probably ping off, like, take out a Marine or 2 on a model that can move 12 inches and do objectives. It's a lot of oomph.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel about it for Chaos Space Marines?
I think that they were in a, not a rough spot, but just in it, you had to work. You had to work to win.
Yeah.
And I think there's going to be...
You had to, like, really look for it.
Yeah, like, you had to play pretty sweaty to, eke out a win against... Well, I mean, I'm usually pretty sweaty, but I think to, like, pull out a win against some of the topper tier factions, and now I think, like I was looking at some of my lists and they were down like 150 points. Mm-hmm. So I mean, that's a whole other unit. We got some comments. Chaos Knights got smacked for no reason. Chaos Knights got smacked for no reason. They probably got smacked for some kind of a reason. I think there's with the changes to towering, I think Chaos Knights are going to have a little bit of oomph, and Insane Bravery being changed. Their whole tactics are going to be pretty different. Avatar and Incarn are stupid still, absolutely. They were stupid before, they'll be stupid again. Part of the problem is their rules are stupid, and they don't interact with the game right. Boss on Squeak dodged the points increase, and it got buffed into Knights. The old ways is best. Sure, I don't know what Boss on Squig is. And I think Chosen now are solid. Chosen were solid before. I just don't... I found them to be... They attracted more attention than I felt like Legionaries did. Because part of, like, I've talked about this. Well, in the last episode we talked about this. The psychology of the game is also really important to me. And I feel like Legionaries go under the radar, but Chosen, people are like, oh, I gotta deal with that. And they shoot them off the table.
Yeah.
So, it's a problem. What do you think about... We talked about Nurgles being in Ascendance. How do you feel about the changes to Chaos Demons?
I'm kind of surprised that they paid attention to how powerful the greater demons were.
Demons had actually, like, in the last few weeks, climbed up into a pretty, like, solid, like, spot in most...
Undivided, they're in a really good spot. There's a really good way to play them. You've kind of seen them a couple times.
No, but and I think, like, it took people a while to figure it out because it's a very different list than it was in 9th.
Yeah, like...
It plays very differently.
Lots of movement, too. Lots of positioning. That's pretty much what demons are, and knowing how to do it, and knowing what to avoid, which is shooting, and how to avoid it, and making sure that you are in that bubble. I really liked it. I think you can still play it. I think Shalaxi and Bellicor are still nice together, but it's still...
It's 800 points now, though. I think that makes it makes it harder to commit to it.
Very.
And I also think if you take out Wraith Knights not being on the table anymore, Imperial Knights are probably going to be fightier. Mm-hmm. They're not going to be bringing as many just, like, gun platforms. Right. And
did we just see the shift from shooting to more melee?
I think melee can at least survive now on the table against some of the bigger shooting armies.
Yeah.
I really think, like, Tau still struggle against invuln saves because it's a lot of, like, their big guns are still big single shot guns.
They came down in, like, big points.
They did.
Like, big time.
I think it's going to be, like, if I think of how I like to play Tau with a lot of vehicles, like, I would be looking at maybe 2 or 3 Sky Rays and 3 to 4 Hammerheads on the table. Not necessarily all with railguns, but I think you could very easily play a pretty like armored Tau list right now. Riptides came down a lot.
Yes, like what was it, 260 to 180?
It's a huge drop. I think Tau are also going to Fire Warriors came down a lot, so they're going to have an easier time holding objectives because they're not deploying points into like squads that just sit there. Yeah, I really think that Tau definitely have a lot more life left in them, but I don't think into demons is where they're going to excel because 4-up invuln saves ruin them.
So yeah, with the demons, it was definitely more directed to the greater demons, besides Nurgle, that took the hit, but everything else came down. So most
I thought some Slanesh went up.
Which one?
But Demonettes went up, didn't they?
I thought they went down.
Did they go down?
I saved it.
Oh, did you?
I did. Maybe they did. I can.
I couldn't remember which direction they went in when I was looking. I couldn't remember how much they had been.
Okay, so Flamers actually went up as well. And the Changeling. So, Demonettes went down 20 points. So I can say it. So Beast of Nurgle came down 5. Belcor went up 25, which is pretty reasonable. Like I can be okay with that. Bloodletters came down 20. Bloodmaster came down in 10. Bloodthirster went up in 20, which is fair. Burning Chariot came down 20 points. Demon Prince came down 15 points. Demonettes 20. Fiends came down 20. Flamers went up 15, which kind of sucks. I don't think you're going to see as many Flamers on the board. They're pretty expensive now. Great Unclean One went down 30 points from 280 to 250.
I think the Great Unclean Ones needed it though.
Yes. You know what though? I want an ability though. Like, give them something to reason. Like I still can't believe they have a strength 8 weapon.
Yeah, but all the greater demons, the not named ones, have strength 8 weapons. Other maybe the Bloodthirster
doesn't have like a strength 16 weapon.
It's because Rodriguez isn't Shalaxi, so he's not cool enough.
Fair. Okay, anyways. Lord of Change went up 30 points. Nurglings came down 5 points. We're probably going to see a lot more Nurglings on the table, which is really nice to see because they're really great at those missions. Plague Bearers came down 20 points, which is beautiful. Poxbringer came down 10 points. Don't know why, but that's cool. Rodriguez is down 25 points. Screamers are down 10. Seekers are down 10. Shalaxi is up 50. Scarbrand is down 20, which is good because he's not that great at 365. This is my favorite. This was my favorite change, and I know it's not Nurgle change, but it still glees me. Skull Cannons came down 10 points. From 115 to 105. I feel those 2 skull cannons that I put in my list are very crucial. Yes, there's the Bellicor Shalaxi thing, but those 2 skull cannons, they put in work and they do the battle shock. Okay?
That's true.
So for them to come down 10 points to be close to 100, that's pretty awesome.
Would you describe it as chef's kiss?
Soul Grinder came down 15 points. Celeste went down 20 points. Changeling is up 15, and the Torment Chariot is down 20 points. So that is the
very
demons.
Nice. You know what? I think they're definitely trying to incentivize smaller demons, not just like big stompy lists.
Which I get it. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. it really seems like they maybe realized they went over the top into like big stompy units, because like Eldar went into Wraith Knight, Imperial Knights were top, Demons went into Greater Demons pretty fast. So you have this kind of like you had a huge meta that was really forming around like a lot of stompy stuff. And I think a lot of it came down to devastating wounds, because that mortal wounds carrying over just like pounded squads. Yeah. So like if you could do enough devastating wounds, you could knock out a Terminator squad. You could 100%. Knock out custodians were harder, but you know, you could knock out an infantry squad with something that was meant to take down like a Titan.
And if you noticed, I didn't say blood crushers or
I noticed.
Flesh hounds. They did not change whatsoever.
I think we've been talking about this. People have been sleeping on blood crushers this whole time, and clearly it did not show up in the data. Welcome, Lil V. Is it Lil V? You can tell I can't read. Glad you could make it.
Snurgle, you still gonna auto take 3x3 Nurglings? Yeah.
Are you still gonna auto take 3x9 Nurglings?
How about 9x9?
We can't take. They're not. You could do 6x9.
6x9. Sorry, 6x9. 69.
50.
Nice.
54 Nurglings.
How much would that be? Yeah, bring up the calculator.
6 squads at Nurglings are 105 points. It would be 630 points of Nurglings.
Easy.
Do you have that many Nurglings?
No.
I
have, I think, like 36 viable. Actually, you know what? I lied. I can do it. Nurgling.
Go on.
Uh-oh. Garrow found the treats and knocked them off the counter.
Oh, no.
Nurgling Riot is coming back. Remember how I swarmed that one objective?
Just swarm every objective. Just deep strike them down in a circle.
If you want to put all your shots in my Nurgle, sure.
Actually, you know what? At 900 points, 600 points, and then if you took a changeling or something that just sat in the middle of that,
you can't shoot,
and then you can't shoot it, that could work. That would be a really memey, stupid list, but in I mean stupid in like stupid fun.
And then have 4 great and clean ones on the board, and still have points to spread around.
Yeah. That'd be really comical. Could you have 4 great and clean ones and still have points?
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
They're only 250.
Only 1,000. Is Mono God Nurgle back?
We're back, baby.
How do you feel about Plague
left,
Bearers?
We just slept, huh?
How do you feel about Plague Bearers being... Do you feel like they're usable yet?
At...
120? 125.
Yeah, 20 points cheaper. It's better than 145, yeah.
But do you feel like they're usable?
But you... Yes, because I like the sticky. I really love the sticky ability that they have. I think that's really nice and key. But I miss them when they were 30. Not
Me too.
10. I would rather be single wound and 30 of them than 2 wounds and 10 of them.
That's fair.
Because then,
that was more fun.
Yeah, because then people have to put their single shots into it, and now everyone's got like double, triple damage. Be like, haha, you're triple damage. Which one are you gonna choose? Like, you're gonna put your... So... But, yeah, I'd love to see them in bigger unit sizes rather than just these tiny ones. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, cultists, I think, can be 20, so it doesn't make sense that...
They can, yeah.
Demons are 10s. Because I know people didn't like putting the war gear, but I loved when I could have like a unit of 27 and a unit of like 28 plague bearers. Like there's just something satisfying to squeeze those extra points with an extra plague bearer or not. Instead of these just like clean cut 10s, 20s, whatever.
I do like how fast it is to build a list right now.
Yes.
I will say that. It is pretty clean, it's pretty slick. Having played in a like much more War Gear-y edition, like back in the day, I even found 9th was fairly like War Gear simplified.
Because it was free.
And well, before it was free.
Ah, yes.
Like, it was still less cumbersome than it had been. I do kind of like the movement towards just, like, you figure out what's best for your army, not what's the most point efficient. Because, like, that's the other thing is, like, you then get into the, like, oh, we need to do points adjustments because, like, this plasma gun is outperforming this melta-gun. And then, like, everyone's like, oh, well, I put melta-guns on all my units.
You right.
Can only take 2. Did orcs go up? Can only take 240 boys now compared to the 300 before. Did orcs get nerfed? I assumed they were in the the squad sizes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll bring my Nurglings.
It's not as fun as you think it is.
What, the Nurglings?
No.
What?
They don't die. No, to play into. Not barely. You're like, do I want to shoot at Shalaxi or do I want to shoot at a Nurgling?
You didn't play them when at their height, man. I'm gonna reminisce. 5-up, 5-ups, Psychic Awakening. I could spend a CP, and for every Nurgling that I lost, I think it was on a 5-up, they come back.
The GSC? What is this?
Oh no! Oh, yeah.
Folks, it sounds like we're having a Garo-based interruption. We'll be back to they reduced boy squads from 30 to 20. You know what? That seems like a reduction of fun for orcs. I'm sorry to hear that, because orcs should be many. Back in my day, the capacity of a truck was however many models you could stack on top of it. And I think we should go back to that. I think that would be a good thing. And I also think that if you paint an orc truck red, it should go faster. It should move further on the table. And maybe if you paint orcs yellow, they should be able to hit on 4-ups because they're bad at DACA. Boom, hot take. Be entertaining. That's a tall order for just one person talking at an empty screen here.
I believe
Nurgle
in
circle. I want to know what's going on now, though. It's weird to think. Okay, Knob's going. It's weird to think of orcs going more elite, though. That feels like a weird direction to put them in. But also the amount of elite orcs feels weird. It's a bit of an odd dynamic. Like, I don't know, waves of boys feels like the way orcs should be played, and I feel like thinking of horde armies, and it seems like they've really incentivized Tyranids to go back down to Garo camera when chat is asking. I don't know if Kaylee can hear me right now. But yeah, I think Tyranids are really being pushed towards like horde and I also would say guardsmen are being pushed back into hordes. So it's
I'll
weird
have
to think
put a
that
go
orcs are
kill
not
on
being.
him because he's just all over the place.
They want to see Garrow. Can we?
He's right here.
Garrow does not show up on the camera very well.
How do you feel about the points, Dataslate? I think they're wonderful for Death Guard, and now you'll see more Mortys and Plague Marines and Bloat Drones. Yeah. Remember that story I said last week where he likes to drink paint water? Well, he dumped the cup of paint water, and it went all over the desk and onto the floor.
Oof.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, do we want to feel like we're past half an hour at this point? Should we move on to recording the episode that's going to be very similar to this? We'll just be ranting about different parts of the balanced data slate.
Minus, hopefully, a catastrophe.
Garrow's the real MVP of the stream, let's be honest.
He's always making an appearance.
Can we, we'll have to get credits, and then it'll just be all Garrow. Just like executive producer Garrow.
Yep. This
Director
podcast
Garrow.
has been pod-bombed? Would it be pod-bombed? By Garrow.
I don't know.
Photobombed, but like pod-bombed.
Yeah, I don't know if you could hear anything I had said. I was just meandering about Tyranids. Garrow is the real MVP. And yeah, on that note, anything else to add to the pre-show?
Hi. No, what do I want to add to this? With our lovely watcher right now, and like anyone who's rewatching this or watching it back, if you guys have anything you'd like to add or like to see or like would like for us to chat about, maybe we could have like a little hobby segment, like what we're working on or what kind of list we're working on or anything like that. Let us know in the comments down below. We do read them and we will reply to them. Like and subscribe. I hear you're supposed to say that and it helps.
Well, and I think the plan is we typically record Thursday evenings, so it'll be somewhere between like
Thursdays
7 and 9 on Thursday evening. Honey segment?
What's a
hobby?
I was like, what is a honey segment?
I was worried that was a different thing.
That's for a different website.
Only hams? Only Warhams?
Only hammers, yeah.
Only oh, it was right there. Thank you. All right.
Which,
yeah, so
we'll kind of shout out. Did you know that Deckbox is on OnlyFans now?
I saw that, but I don't have OnlyFans, so I did not.
Yeah, I can't subscribe because I don't have an account.
And I don't really want an account.
No. So, Deckbox, if you're listening, I would subscribe, but I'm not going
to. What do you think of, actually, you know what? This is maybe a good topic to end on. What do you think of their plans?
Of the store next door?
The store next door.
That should be
the deck boxier.
That should be the name. I love it. I think it's kind of like what we talked about during like my mini wargaming experience thing, that like about going to like a studio, and I think that's kind of like what they're kind of going for. Having that type of environment and experience, I think, will elevate this not just this hobby, but like Magic the Gathering and all that stuff. So I'm really excited to see how it all pans out for them.
If there's a streaming space for Warhammer Chaos Divided battle reports,
and it's gonna be so much easier to do that. Like even for myself, even like personal type of streaming or anything like that, it's just gonna be like, yeah. But for sure,
you heard it.
Chaos Divided battle. Kind of pooped myself for that one.
You built it up and it didn't go anywhere.
My soft build up.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone who's joined us, and thank you for everyone who's rewatching this later. You can check out the podcast. Our most recent episode is on list building, which was very timely because everything changed the day after we created. But it's not about like how to build a list in the meta. It's more how to have fun building a list and talking about list building and kind of how to build the thought process of having a fun, exciting list. So it's not necessarily tied to like points values or anything.
It ties into any edition, any time of the year, anything that's going on.
Absolutely. So, we got Basement Wargaming coming in at the very end.
Goodbye.
Well, no. On that
okay,
note.
no. You know what? No. Let's not go quite yet. Wait. Hold on. Basement Wargaming. The Tyranids. We have not talked about. I think you talked about it, but I was kind of like doing something right now, or right then. But how are the Tyranids during this Dataslate? Or let's talk about the excitement of the new Tyranids coming out on Saturday.
New codex. Did you notice that they already changed the first code? Did you already notice that they changed all the point costs of the enhancements?
Did they really?
Yeah, if you look at the Tyranid section, they're all red already. As I'm like, did they already change the cost from what they printed in the book, or is it because they're new? I don't know.
Are the points printed in the book?
I don't know. I haven't seen a 10th edition codex yet.
Neither have I.
Right? Like, we don't know. That feels like a loaded oh my.
How many H's is that?
That sounds like do we maybe need to have another Tyranid focus episode?
It is the first codex. Yep. Before I broke up. Oh, it sounds like Votan 2.0.
Right?
So there are book points.
Oh, Games Workshop. Good job.
I'm so sorry.
Oof.
I would spill one for you. But no, Garrow spilled one for you.
There we go.
On paper, I'm really happy where Nids landed. Awesome.
That's good.
That's great. Plus, you get cool models. Cool new models. There you go.
The Norn emissary looks cool.
Yeah, it's a lot bigger than
I thought. Yeah. Feels like they're these newest Tyranids, I'm really liking that they're leaning more into the like eldritch horror rather than just like bugs. Like they're definitely like weirder.
Too.
Yeah.
They're not
like
just
they're giving off.
They're not just like little tiny swarms and then a little couple big ones and then a giant one. It's like, okay, we've got some good sizes that we can pick from.
Well, and it looks like some of the new detachments are going to be like, you're going to have the ability to really go into the monster mash. So
there's a lot of detachments, isn't there?
I think they got 6.
Space
so did they get rid of Space? You know what though? I feel like I mean, part of it's also just like the resolution on models now is so much higher that they can actually give them some detail so they don't just look like little like lizards. But yeah, no, I think it'll be nice to see Tyranids. I'm hoping they don't be like oppressive like they were through 9th, but just be in a good spot. And if you're saying that they're good for objective play, like that's what Tyranids should be good at. like taking and controlling the board.
But
Because realistically,
yeah.
Hmm?
I'm trying to think if they have reasons to hold objectives.
Well, they do, because if you're looking at like how they actually consume a planet, like it takes them time to like digest and like consume all the biomass.
Right.
So they do actually need to like control territory in order to if you look at how they like build up their like digestion pools and stuff like that, like it takes them time to actually process the biomass. So
they're not killy at all right now, according to Basement Wargaming. But nothing compared to
yeah. Which is, objective play is far more so. Like I've been focusing my list more on objective play, and I have been performing better. So,
Are you doing objective play and the mission play?
Well, like kind of both. Like having things that'll play the secondaries, having things that'll play the primaries, and then I kind of like to have like a threat or two to distract from it. Yes. But having the ability to just kind of, so many of them, either you need to control the middle, but even I've been putting like Terminators into Deep Strike more, just so that I have something to like throw down in like the enemy deployment zone or something, so that investigate or not deploy teleport homers I'm bad at. Behind enemy lines I can be better at. So just some of those like secondaries that are really hard to run up the board and do, because if you pull them first or second turn, like you're not in your enemy's deployment zone most of the time. So yeah.
One more question. I know it's gonna be a two-parter to Basement Wargaming, and then we can end it off. MVPs and LVPs of the Dataslate for Tyranids. I'm sure there's gonna be a delay, so we'll have to wait for that. But...
Right. There's both a delay and then he also needs to type.
So we'll wait patiently.
Actually, you know what? You didn't give your MVP and your LVP for Chaos Demons.
Well, Skull Cannons were definitely my MVP.
Fair.
I was surprisingly shocked by that. I was actually shocked that my points came down at all. I thought I was just gonna be same old. We'll wait another year and a half for the book, and I was gonna shelf my Nurgle Demons forever. But LVP was Shalaxi.
You know what? I disagree. I think Shalaxi's still competitive. I think she's just
450.
No, I know. It's definitely not like, I think Shalaxi goes from a auto include to a you need to want her and need her in the list.
Yes.
But I think she's still playable. Like I don't think 450 ruins her. But yeah. I almost feel like Be'lakor going up is actually more of the LVP, because I feel like he didn't have enough oomph to begin. Like the lone operative thing was definitely spicy, but
you can't even do
I don't know if it was spicy enough.
Oh, for that whole thing, yes. Oh, and like you said, like with the meta kind of slightly changing, where people won't be shooting it off the boards right off the bat. But 25 points is okay, I guess. We'll see.
No, it's not a huge change. It's just I feel like
if he went
towering
up, like,
being different.
Yeah, I would have a problem with that.
Oh, that'd be a ridiculous. Well,
yeah.
Abaddon got a 60-point increase.
Exactly.
Be'lakor doesn't warrant that. I don't think.
I think I would have been more okay if he got his marks.
Just keep saying it. Somebody will hear it at some point.
Yeah, someone texted me or DM'd me the other day or the other week, and they're like, so am I right in this that Be'lakor doesn't have the marks? I was like, nope.
Was it the lead designer at the Warhammer Studios being like, oh, oopsie daisy?
Yeah, GW himself, or James Workshop, he's like, did you know that Be'lakor doesn't have all 4 marks? Yeah, James, I know.
Come on.
I like that Basement Wargaming probably like 3 minutes ago said MVP is Vanguard Detachment. But LVP, we've been waiting
I know.
patiently. So no LVP, says Basement Wargaming through his silence.
That's a, you know what? That's a hot take. That there's absolutely no losers in the Tyranid. Tyranid's confirmed, top of the meta. JK,
Yeah.
it's Necrons.
Yep. 90% win rate coming.
Oof, 90. Can you imagine? Can you imagine a 90% win rate? Like, hey, you're like brand new to the game. You set up the Leviathan box and you win a GT with it. You're just like, I don't even know how to play this army. It's just so strong.
Yeah.
Tyrannifex and Hive Tyrants. Excited for it. Okay, Leapers look super cool. Gene Stealers. You know what? Gene Stealers being in the light, I'm happy about. Gene Stealers is such a classic unit. I'm glad they're getting their moment in the sun. Neurolictor, Emissary. Nice.
Yeah. I think you're going to see a lot more people kind of shelf Eldar. They had their summer of Eldar. And you're going to see people bring Votan to try them out, and Death Guard to see the changes, and Tau, and Demons, and Nurgle, and so, yeah, I'm excited to see this shift.
For sure. I think it'll be nice to give some breathing room to, like, if we can get to a spot where, because by the end of 9th, we kind of were in that, where most were in that 45 to 55 zone, where you know, there's a lot of back and forth, and I hope we're closer. I hope they didn't overshoot. Because the other side of this is, like, once you take Eldar out of the equation as being so dominant, again, we don't know what that is also going to trigger changes in. If we go to a less shooty, like, meta, then a lot of melee armies can change.
Yes, because World Eaters came down in points as well.
And World Eaters have some oomph to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've been playing melee focused all through 10th so far, and been figuring out ways to do it. I'm a little curious to see what's going to happen if, like, I don't have as much to contend with on the shooting side. If it's going to be a little bit more like, all right, it's like easier to get across the board. It's easier to engage with your opponent. It's going to change a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Play
love
fast.
Change.
What?
Leapers will be insane in Vanguard. 3x6 to infiltrate, and we have an enhancement to redeploy after turn 1.
Oh.
Ew.
Redonkulous.
Like, redeploy for the Leapers, okay.
But if they're infiltrators, you could redeploy them still infiltrating. Mm-hmm. You just put them in different spots. That now that you know where everything. Oh, that's going to be. And they have fight first.
That'd be great. Oh, do they have fight first?
They have fight first too, so I think they're hard to shift in melee, and then you just hide them. Oh, that's gonna be nasty.
Are they beast or infantry?
I don't know. I don't know which one they are. They're not very big. They might be beasts, but I can't imagine.
So can they go through walls?
I thought beasts could go through walls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just swarms that can.
Okay. Nurglings can't figure out how door handles work.
Yeah, they don't know what a crack in the wall is.
They're like, no.
I can fit through it, but I ain't going through it. Basement Wargaming. We also have a strat for free 6-inch move if you come within 9 inches. Oh.
No more Phantasm. Oh no. They're doing it again. Why?
Oh, really?
I hate Phantasm so much.
And
they just changed it. It's so hard to catch something that can move when you get closer to it.
Especially if you want to charge it. Is this... Ew. I don't like that. Can I have that?
Right? What if you move within 9 inches of me, I get to charge you? Can there be overcharge?
Yeah.
Like, instead of Overwatch, there's Overcharge. You're just like, you triggered my trap card, and you just, like, roll 2 dice, and you're like, haha, I've charged you. You don't even get to shoot now, you just hack them apart. 3 CP, don't care. I would use it.
Isn't that heroic intervention?
No, you get to use it in the movement phase.
Oh, right. Yeah, 3d6, because... No, it should be 4d6. Why not?
46,
inches.
Yeah.
Bye!
All right. Well, with that.
Yeah, we stayed a little bit longer just for you, Basement Wargaming. Oh, he's still gloating.
Vanguard also has a strat that turns a unit into lone operative. Okay, you know what? I also have that, and it's ridiculous. That is what has been keeping my Land Raider alive through most games. Actually, I've used it on Abaddon too. It's a little ridiculous. You just feel like, oh, by the way, Abaddon has lone operative now, and his squad of 5 Terminators.
Nanner.
It's really, yeah. It's definitely one of those strats you hold on to CP for, because it'll keep things alive. So that's a super powerful strat.
Yeah, Nids. You'll probably see a lot of Nids because it's the first codex, and everybody wants to play the new models and the new codex, and it's gonna have a lot more abilities than most people. So
yeah.
I wonder, do you think they're gonna do the cards like they did for the index?
Who knows? Probably. If Games Workshop smells a revenue stream, they tend to take it. So.
Blushing Noise Marine just turned into Sleepy Noise Marine.
It's getting a little late here. All right, we need to record this podcast, so let's move on.
Okay. And
thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Hit that like, hit that subscribe. You guys are awesome. That's what the YouTubers do, right?
We are the YouTubers now. We're
here. Okay, let's do this. It's late.
Bye-bye.
Love you guys. You guys are amazing. Happy wargaming. Oh, I just stole
Happy
that.
wargaming.
Who says that? Is that really wargaming?
Stop the stream, Kaylee. We gotta
go. Super professional. Okay, love you guys. Ciao for now. Mwah.